Hi everyone. It's been a while since I've done this. As you'll see, I had a really good time at Hoy's with Alf, which was great. But I just wanted to do this video just to give a little update of what's been happening. There's been some great positives, and unfortunately there has been some very negatives as well that I just wanted to discuss. So firstly, obviously, like I said, I came back from Hoy's. That was great. Alf was fantastic. I was thrilled with him. He's now on his holiday. He hasn't been ridden since, and he was very happy. And then, annoyingly, he actually got an abscess in his foot, and that has just cleared up now. So another thing to add to the list of worries, which was not ideal. He just came in from the field one day, just a little lame, and I'm thinking, oh God, what on earth has happened here? Please don't be anything too serious. His foot was hot. He had a pulse in his fetlock area, digital pulse it's called. It was quite strong, so I thought, okay, we will put a poultice on it, a hot poultice, and did that. And sure enough, he had an abscess. So my farrier came, took the shoe off, and pared it back and got it all cleaned out, and again poulticed it until it was okay. And then I was given the all clear to put him out in the field, but his foot still felt a bit warm, and I thought, should I have done that? And again, sure enough, I should have trusted my gut, and it hadn't quite healed, so it got quite sore again, so I had to re-poultice it until it was all cleaned out. And then yesterday I took him to the vet just to be on the safe side. Nothing had come out the poultice. I then put a dry one on, and again that was clean. So I took him to the vet. He was as sound as a pound. She's given him the all clear to go back out now. She said it's completely clean, so that's great. But what I'll probably do is put some front shoes on him, just to be on the safe side. I had taken his shoes off, just like I said, as I'm planning on giving him a holiday. But he will keep his front shoes on now anyway. So that was that. I took my mare, Kildalton Heiress, to get graded last week. It was for the Irish Draught Horse Society of Great Britain. That was all very new to me. So I had a very long journey down to Onley. It took me just over 4.5 hours. I went down with my granddad, and we stayed the night before, as it was quite a long journey. And I had a great time. It was really interesting. It was interesting seeing the stallions and the other mares that were there. And yeah, it was great. So basically how that worked, you get inspected by a vet. She has a vetting at the beginning where they check her over, do her measurements of bone and girth and so forth. And then once you've given the all clear for that, then you go through to the inspectors. And basically there's 3 inspectors, and they will look at your mare. And so you'll stand her up, similar to when I'm showing and I'm in the confirmation phase. So I just stand her up in front of them. They have a look at her. I walk away, walk back, trot away, trot back, so they can assess her confirmation. And then once you've done that, you go into the arena and they watch them go loose, so they can see them trotting, cantering freely. And then by that stage, they will have done their score sheet to see basically what grade they give them. It's like class 1 is the highest you can get, and class 2, class 3, and there is class 4, I think. But she was great. She was given class 1, which was fantastic. And because of that, she was then eligible to go forward to the athleticism part, which is basically going down a jumping lane. So they jump like a treble, basically, like 2 small jumps, and then the last part is a spread. So I was given the option to do that, which I did. And she did that really well. She hasn't jumped, oh God, I don't know, like 2 years she hasn't jumped at all. Like, she's had her injuries, and then obviously she was put in foal, and then unfortunately lost the foal, and then throughout this year I've been trying to get her back in foal, with no success. So she's not really been in work that long. She's been in work just over 2 months, so she's just nice and steady. So obviously going down the jumping lane, I didn't know what she would do. She was always a very Larry mare anyway, but she was great. She was very happy. She was moved beautifully. She looked fantastic. She jumped down the lane brilliantly, and I was very proud owner. And she was awarded 2 bronze merits, so one for the athleticism down the jumping lane, and then another for her conformation and movement. And the judges were really impressed with her trot, especially. They said she just was like a feather. She just floated across the ground, which was lovely to hear. And apparently she's the only mare to have ever gained 2 bronze merits in an inspection before. I'm not 100% certain if that's true or not. It's just what I've been told by the officials there. They believe she's the only mare to have ever achieved that. So that was amazing for my first experience of a mare inspection. So I was really pleased with that. And yeah, that was great. And then unfortunately, going on to the maybe not so good news, and that's I actually had to have another horse put down yesterday, which was horrendous again. My lovely 6-year-old Albus, also known as Kilmastula Mr. Brooks, had to be put down due to a neurological issue. Basically, I turned him away at the beginning of the year because I wanted him to mature. He wasn't feeling quite comfortable when I was riding him. He wasn't lame or anything. He wasn't, there's nothing really wrong. It's just sometimes he just felt a bit uncomfortable. And I took him to my vet, and they didn't really see anything wrong with him. They just said, he's a big horse that needs time to mature. And it could have just been juvenile changes in his joints. So we turned him away for the summer, and he had a lovely 7 months out in the field with Paddy. Looked absolutely fine. He was very happy. And then I brought him back in, and when I looked at him walking, I thought, you're walking a bit strangely. I didn't think anything of it. He'd had no shoes on, so I thought, well, maybe it's that. I got him shod, and he was a bit leaning when the farrier was doing his back legs. And again, I thought, well, that's a bit strange, but again, he's not been handled for so long, so maybe he was just being awkward. And I was trying not to overthink things, because with everything that's gone on this year, I didn't want to be too dramatic straight away, if that makes sense. I didn't want to suddenly think, oh my God, there's something seriously wrong with this horse. So I didn't really think much of it. Walked him up. He didn't look too bad. He looked better, really, once he was shod. And so he got sent to a lady with my other horses when I went to Hoys. I'd said in a video I did, I sent the horses away. And again, he was just going on the horse walk, and there didn't seem to be a problem. But I got a phone call to say that he had fallen over in the yard when they were bringing him out the stable, and he'd really taken the skin off his hocks, so he must have fallen quite hard. So obviously when I came back from Hoys, I went straight up. It was only the day before it had happened, actually, before I went to see him. And I thought, well, I better just bring him back just in case, just so I can treat him properly, treat his hocks. And when I got him back, he was moving terribly. like the lady there hadn't noticed anything. He'd been going fine, but after the fall, or I don't know whether it made his symptoms worse, because like I say, he was walking a bit funny when he came in. He was walking terribly when he came back, and I thought, gosh, there's something, seriously wrong with this horse. So that is when my alarm bells started to ring, and I called my vet, and thankfully she's always there when I need her. Caroline, if you're watching this, I'm very, very grateful to you. I'm very lucky to have a vet that I can call whenever I need. Night and day, Caroline will tell you I've called her at all sorts of times, but she's always there, which is great. I got him booked in and took him down the next day. And like coming off the ramp as well, like he was very much like underneath himself, his back legs. It wasn't right anyway. And basically she trotted him up, and I was like horrified. I hadn't seen him trot, I'd only seen him walk, and he was just completely like all over the place. And long story short, he was stage 3 ataxic. So he had basically, he wasn't able to communicate properly with his legs. Like the communication from his brain to his legs was slower, and he had his neck x-rayed, and we found that he had arthritic changes in his neck, which had caused the vertebrae to oh gosh, what's the word? It caused the vertebrae to enlarge, and this enlargement then causes the spinal cord to compress, and it like narrows like the passageway basically for the spinal cord. So that means that the communication going through it is not so much blocked, but it's slowed down, and so that wasn't good. It also known as wobblers. So we tried a 10-day course of strong steroid powders, just to see if that would get rid of his symptoms, even just a little bit. And like watching him trot in the field, it was awful. Like his legs were all over the place. And I took him back to the vet yesterday, and unfortunately there was no improvement at all. And unfortunately with this case as well, it's not really a very good outcome. There's not much you can really do for it, and for my safety as well as his, it's quite a dangerous thing actually to have. And my vet said, we could have attempted to inject his neck with a cortisone injection, a steroid, just to see if that made any improvement. But the problem with that is that you would have to continue doing that throughout, and there was no guarantee that it would work. And also for my safety and his, that this is the key thing, is safety. The fact that he didn't have the communication to his legs, say if I rode him, that it was very dangerous in case he stumbled, tripped, it could have been an awful accident. And my vet said you'd have to improve dramatically for her to even give me the all clear just to ride him. And like I say, even just handling him on the ground, it wasn't safe. There is an operation that they can do potentially. They have to go under general anesthetic, and there's like a dye gets drawn down the spinal cord to find where the blockage is, basically, and that would tell you if it was doable or not. Now, the operation itself, and that would have cost around £10,000. Unfortunately, again, it's not a case of, right, do the operation and it will be totally fine. There isn't, there isn't a chance that, you know, there is a chance it could have been fine, but there's also a high likelihood that, yes, it might have been improved, but it wouldn't have been improved enough, if that makes sense. And like I say, he was stage 3, so stage 4 is when they're actually like falling over, which he had already done. Like I say, whether that was to do with the ataxia or whether it was just a freak accident, I don't know. I wasn't there. But like I say, safety was the utmost of, you know, importance when it came to this decision. And for him too, like watching him moving the way he was, it was just a crying shame, because this is a horse that I was competing on only in February. He went to Lincoln horse trials. He was double clear in second. So to watch a horse, you know, dramatically change the way he did, it was heartbreaking. And such a beautiful horse, not just to look at, but to handle. And yeah, it was just awful, really sad. I mean, I've lost 3 horses this year. My lovely Harry horse, due to his suspensory problems. I lost my 31-year-old ex-race horse. He'd been here, you know, my whole life. He'd been here 24 years, and you know, for him, you know, that was justified. He had a lovely, you know, he'd had a lovely life, which was fantastic. But you know, these 2 horses, they're 2 young horses that well, my parents had bought for me to, you know, go that next level on. So for this to happen, it's just, it's I don't know how to describe it, really. It's very much, it's difficult to describe how I'm feeling, because yeah, they were horses that were bought to go that next level. They're beautiful horses. They've both been vetted, so it's not like I didn't get my horses vetted. The one thing I didn't do was get my horse x-rayed. You know, there's a lot of things going on I see on Facebook all the time. Shouldn't I get my horse vetted? Is it really worth it getting these x-rays? For me, once upon a time, I'd have said, oh God, I'll just take the risk and just buy the horse. And now, you know, learning what I've learned this year, I think I would far rather spend the money getting the x-rays done, getting the proper vetting done. Like I say, both of them were vetted, so I would, you know, horses of a certain price range and expectation of what I want them to do, I would most certainly recommend, you know, getting the horse vetted. Always get a 5-stage vetting. But I've never had x-rays. My Harry horse, he came with x-rays, but I didn't get the x-rays done myself. Now, in hindsight, I would possibly have got them done again, because I found with him, not even a year later, he actually had developed a bone chip. So in his hock, which had to be removed, and that, again, I'm not sure was a contribution to some of his problems. The Albus horse, he didn't have any x-rays at all. Now, if I'd got x-rays done of his neck, would I have potentially seen this problem already developing? This is something that can develop from an early age and then gradually get worse. Now, this is something that could have possibly happened with him. Like I say, I was riding him, competing him. I never really noticed anything serious. I just felt the horse wasn't comfortable. So again, if I'd had these x-rays done, would that have highlighted it? Would I have bought him after that? You know, would I have gone through all of this pain and, you know, heartbreak? I don't know. I won't know. You know, it's all in the past now. There's nothing I can do about it but learn. So I do think it's a very interesting subject regarding vettings and x-rays. I've never had a horse x-rayed ever, that we have bought. From now on, do I think I'll get my horse x-rayed? Potential horse x-rayed that I'm going to buy? Absolutely. The amount of money it has cost with these horses. Now, I love my horses to pieces, and you know, I do absolutely everything for them. But, you know, it's a lot of money and a lot of heartbreak. And in hindsight, I think I would like to be, I would like to have all of the, I mean, you can't, you know, cross all of the T's and dot all of the I's. It's impossible with horses. There's always going to be something that you'll think, oh, I missed that. However, you know, there is such a thing as x-rays. You know, you can look at all of the joints. So for me, with the problems I've had this year, I think for sure I would get my horses x-rayed that I'm looking to buy, because it's a lot of money. I mean, for the amount of money that it would cost me to do that compared to all of these vets fees that we've had this year, there's just no question. You know, it's the money is totally worth it to do. I'd far rather pay however much more it is for that, to at least be sure that you know, I've checked everything over basically, and tried not to miss anything out, rather than taking a bit of a shortcut potentially, or thinking, oh, I'm saving a bit of money, to then find out down the road, oh dear, you know, I've now got to pay thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds to the vets. Now, again, like I say, these problems, I won't know if they were there or not. I mean, I could have those x-rays done and they could have been perfectly fine. I don't know that. But the point I'm trying to make is that I won't ever know if that problem had potentially always been there or not. So yes, that's where I just feel, when it comes to vettings and x-rays, I think it is quite important actually to go that extra mile and get them done. And from now on, that's certainly something I'll do. But I've rabbited on and I've gone on, and I'm sorry for that, but it's just a subject I wanted to raise. And yes, losing him is just awful. It's really sad, because a beautiful, beautiful horse. I had very high hopes for him, just like I had high hopes for Harry. But unfortunately, I've got to do right by the horse. It was not fair to him to carry on the way he was moving when he was galloping around the arena. When I had him loose, I was very nervous actually. The way he was going, I thought, gosh, he's going to fall, or, you know, there was an accident waiting to happen basically. And euthanasia is an awful thing, especially for animal lovers, animal owners, whether you have dogs, cats, horses. But at the end of the day, you've got to put the horse first. You know, when it came to Harry, he wasn't getting any better. Could I have potentially given him to somebody to have maybe as a hack? I don't know. But a beautiful horse like that, somebody could have potentially thought, well, I'll just do a little bit more with him, see how I go. Oh, I'll do a little bit more. And then he's gone back to, you know, the square one basically, and lame. So I did not want to go down that route. And with Albus, unfortunately, that was, like I say, safety was certainly the biggest thing there, and it was only fair to him. It was only fair to us that we did that, because it was very very unsafe and very sad to see. But that's where I'm at the moment, and I don't want to be negative. I don't want to be this, like these videos, it always seems to be doom and gloom, and it isn't. I don't want that to be at all. I want to raise subjects with people that you know, we may not have thought of, or we may just need to discuss more, like I say, the vettings and the x-rays. But like I say, that's where I'm at. When it comes to buying another horse, at the moment, I'm feeling, do I really want to buy another horse? It's just terrible. It's not nice, but we all go through these ups and downs. I mean, everybody does, especially when the horses are more competitive, you know, there are things that are going to happen, and it's not a nice time for people. But I suppose you've got to try and look back on the good times and think those good times will come again. I've got my lovely Paddy horse. He's back in work now. He's still with the lady where Albus was, because he's been off for 8 months. So I've just sent him up there just to gradually start his hacking work, take plenty of time, because I'm meant to be going on holiday this weekend for a week, and I didn't see the point in like bringing him home and then sending him back again. I just thought he may as well stay there and he can stay in a routine. And Scully has stayed up there with him as well, because I was meant to bring Scully and Diana home when I picked Albus up, but because Albus had been injured, I ended up bringing him home instead. And I thought, rather than leave Paddy on his own, Scully can stay. So Scully's just doing the same, hacking out and doing a bit of light schooling, and we'll see where we go with him. Obviously he's had his problems, so I'm just trying to take things nice and slowly. We're not even in November yet, so there's absolutely no rush for these horses. I'm just taking it nice and steady. Diana feels absolutely amazing. I'm really looking forward to riding her next year. I'm going to do some Irish Draught classes with her and see how we get on there. Jumping wise, I'm in a debate whether to jump her or not, because she's had injuries in the past, lameness problems, and seeing her go so well at the moment, I think, well, do I want to take that chance? Like, even when I watched her go down that jumping lane, part of me thought, God, you look absolutely amazing, and my eyes lit up. And at the same time, I'm thinking, oh gosh, please be all right at the other end. So it is a question of whether I decide to jump her or not. Time will tell. But at the moment, she's going brilliantly, and I'm really, really happy about that. She looks amazing. She feels fantastic, so that's great. We've got Paddy, who's slowly coming back into work, and I've got Scully. And then Alf's on holiday, so I've got horses to get on with, which is great. There's no rush to go and buy another one. However, I do like to buy one to produce and sell. That's something I do really like to do. Like those two horses, Harry and Albus, they were meant for me to go that one step further and then eventually sell on. And of course that hasn't happened now, which, you know, that's the least of my worries. I couldn't care less. But I would like to try and get some nice horses in to develop and bring on for people of the future. You know, my lovely Sirius black horse, who I bought not last year, the year before, as a 3-year-old. He's doing absolutely brilliantly now with his current owners. He went to the Summer Champs this year, and he was second in I think it was the performance class, which is restricted height, and he's only a 5-year-old, and he's full Irish Draught, and he's a beautiful horse, and he was against lots of Hoy's qualified horses, but his owners are absolutely thrilled with him, and that fills me full of pride and makes me very happy. So I'd love to find some more horses to do that with. It's just a case of am I prepared for the potential downside to it. But I've just got to, like I say, look to all the success I have had and think, you know, it will come right, and there will be good things happen, I'm sure. But it's just one of those things. So anyway, that's that. I've rambled on enough. Plans now are to, like I say, probably go on holiday. I'm not even sure if I want to go on holiday, but get that done, over and done with, and then get back. Alf's probably going to have a month more in the field now that he's recovered from his abscess, and then just tootle away with them. There's absolutely no rush with the horses. We're just going to take my time and see where we go from there. But I didn't mean for it to be doom and gloom. It really isn't. It would be very interesting to know what you feel about vettings and x-rays. Like I say, yes, it'd be good to know what you think, and feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below. If you would like to like and subscribe, that would be great. I'm hoping to get some more videos out shortly, showing you bringing my mare back into work, what I'm up to with her, and so forth. But I hope you did enjoy this video. I know it wasn't really a very nice video, but I hope you enjoyed it anyway and potentially found some of it useful for you. So thanks a lot. Bye-bye.